It was a bright and sunny day at Maplewood Elementary School, where the sounds of laughter and play filled the air. The sun beamed down from a clear blue sky, casting warm rays that danced across the vibrant playground. Children were scattered across the grassy yard, their joyful shouts echoing as they played tag, swung on swings, and climbed up the jungle gym. The playground was alive with energy. If you enjoy this video, please like the video and subscribe for more, and tell me where you are watching from today. I always find it awesome to see where all my viewers are watching from. Let's get back to the video. A group of kids raced around, their sneakers pounding against the ground, as they chased each other with wide smiles on their faces. Nearby, a young girl giggled as she spun around in circles, her bright red hair trailing behind her like a blazing comet. On the swings, two boys took turns pushing each other higher and higher into the air, their cheers mingling with the sweet sound of birds chirping in the trees. Supervising this delightful scene were the teachers, standing at various points around the playground to keep an eye on their charges. Ms. Johnson, a kind-hearted woman with a cheerful demeanor, watched closely as her students enjoyed their recess. She often chuckled to herself, pleased with how well everyone was getting along. Just another perfect day, she thought. Mr. Thompson, who always had a knack for entertaining kids with stories, sat on a bench nearby, telling tales of adventure to a small group who hung on his every word. His animated gestures painted pictures in their imaginations. Pirates sailing the seven seas and brave knights rescuing damsels in distress. Across the playground, Ms. Lee organized a friendly game of soccer. The children eagerly gathered in teams, ready to show off their skills. Laughter erupted as they dribbled the ball back and forth, competing for glory, but always remembering to cheer for one another. Everything seemed perfect in that moment. There were no worries or troubles on this beautiful day. Parents waved goodbye as they dropped off their children for another exciting day at school, not knowing what was about to unfold just hours later. As the games continued and joy thrived all around, Ms. Johnson took a moment to enjoy her surroundings. With her clipboard in hand, she noted names and activities while savoring an apple from her lunch bag, a small snack between lessons that kept her energized throughout the busy day. Then suddenly, something unusual disrupted this idyllic setting. A deep rumble echoed through the air like distant thunder. The laughter faded away as children froze mid-motion. Taggers paused in their chase. Soccer balls rolled unclaimed across the grass, and playful shouts turned into curious whispers. "Did you hear that?" one boy asked his friend wide-eyed. "Yeah, it sounded funny," replied his companion nervously. The teachers exchanged puzzled glances. It didn't sound like anything they had experienced before at school. Ms. Johnson stood up straight and called out to her students gently, "Everyone stay together. Just keep playing." But inside her mind raced with concern. The noise grew louder, more pronounced, as if something or someone were making its way closer. Teachers fanned out cautiously while keeping the children's spirits high with encouraging words. And laughter meant to soothe any rising worry. In that fleeting instance, before chaos could spread across the playground, something majestic appeared on the edge of the field. A shimmering golden figure leapt into view among the trees. A lion. Gasps filled the air as children backed away slowly in awe and amazement. Wide eyes followed every movement of this incredible animal as it strolled gracefully into their world. The very world that had been filled with games and friendship only moments before. For those few seconds stretched into what felt like an eternity. Nothing else mattered. No soccer balls rolled, nor laughter rang out anymore. Everyone was transfixed by this unexpected visitor whose presence changed everything within an instant. From innocent play to wild wonderment, little did they know that this encounter would spark new ideas about bravery and respect for creatures big and small. not just for today, but for all days to come at Maplewood Elementary School, as hearts raced and breaths held tight in anticipation of what came next. Well, that story was just beginning. Just as laughter resonated through the playground, an unexpected sound broke the cheerful harmony. A deep, rumbling roar echoed from the edge of the schoolyard. It was a fierce yet strangely majestic sound that seemed to vibrate in the air. Children paused mid-laugh, their faces shifting from joy to confusion. The familiar warmth of recess quickly turned into an atmosphere of uncertainty. "What was that?" a little girl named Emma asked, her eyes darting around as she gripped her friend's hand tightly. "I don't know, but it sounded big," her friend replied, wide-eyed and trembling slightly. The teachers exchanged concerned glances. Miss Johnson felt her heart race as she looked at her students. What could make such a noise? She had heard wild animals in nature documentaries, but never imagined one would appear in her schoolyard. "Everyone, gather around me," Ms. Johnson called out, her voice steady but firm. She wanted to keep the children close and safe while assessing the situation. Teachers began rounding up students, trying to maintain calmness as they moved toward the center of the playground. Meanwhile, Mr. Thompson stood frozen on his bench, momentarily captivated by the sound that rolled through the trees like thunder. His storytelling had entertained kids for years, but nothing could have prepared him for this reality. As children clustered together by their teachers, whispers filled the air. "Do you think it's a bear?" one boy speculated, while another insisted it might be a dinosaur, much to everyone's amusement despite their apprehension. "Focus! Stay together!" Ms. Lee shouted over the rising chatter, trying to maintain order while keeping an eye on movement near the tree line. Her instincts as a teacher kicked in. She needed to protect these children above all else. Then came another roar, this one louder and more powerful than before. It sent a shiver down everyone's spines and sent birds fluttering away from their perches above in alarm. The sound was not just any animal. There was no mistaking it now. A lion's mighty roar pierced through the air like a bolt of lightning. With wide eyes and mouths agape, students stepped back instinctively as curiosity battled with fear. "Is it really a lion?" someone whispered incredulously, while another child squeezed their eyes shut, wishing away what they could hardly believe was happening. Miss Johnson couldn't ignore it any longer. She moved closer to the edge of the playground where trees rustled ominously with each vibrant growl. "Stay right here," she instructed firmly yet gently, hoping her presence would comfort them amidst uncertainty. Then came silence. A stillness fell over everyone like a heavy blanket as they awaited what would come next. The laughter had vanished completely. Only breathless anticipation filled their minds as they wondered if this lion would emerge from hiding or vanish back into whatever world it had come from. Suddenly, there was movement beyond the trees. A shimmering golden figure stepped into view. A magnificent lion appeared as if he were stepping right out of a storybook. His fur glistened under sunlight as he walked gracefully into sight, his majestic mane flowing like golden silk in the breeze. Gasps erupted from every corner of the playground. Awe replaced uncertainty as disbelief painted smiles across young faces. Children backed away slowly at first, but couldn't help leaning forward in fascination rather than fear at this proud creature who now stood before them. The teachers were equally entranced. Miss Johnson's heart raced not out of fear, but sheer wonderment at witnessing such an incredible sight, so close to home. Could it be lost? Did it escape from somewhere? Questions swirled through her mind, even as she focused on ensuring safety for all around her. For those precious moments when time seemed suspended in air, the lion stood there absorbing all gazes cast upon him, while soft winds whispered tales of adventure and bravery among excited whispers that drifted through rows of children still huddled together nearby. For many moments afterward, all those present would remember this day forever, filled not just with joy and playfulness, but also with an extraordinary encounter that sparked imagination and courage within those young hearts gathered at Maplewood Elementary School on that fateful afternoon. The moment the lion emerged from the trees, the playground was filled with a mixture of awe and trepidation. Children stood frozen in place, their eyes wide open, taking in the sight before them. They exchanged glances, trying to make sense of what was happening. Was this a dream? A trick of their imaginations? A lion in their schoolyard seemed too fantastical to believe. Ms. Johnson hurriedly gathered her students closer, but she could see that even the bravest among them were wide-eyed and speechless. Some children pointed while others whispered excitedly to one another. "Look at his mane," Emma exclaimed, her voice barely above a whisper as she tugged at her best friend's sleeve. Emma had always been fascinated by animals, and now she had front-row seats to a real-life adventure. Mr. Thompson shuffled from his bench, still in shock but drawn closer by curiosity. The roar echoed in his mind, reverberating against the walls of his imagination. He had often told stories of wild beasts during class time, but nothing could prepare him for this living story, unfolding right before him. As he approached the edge of the playground, he squinted in disbelief at the magnificent creature standing proudly. "What is going on?" Ms. Lee murmured under her breath, looking around at her fellow teachers. The confusion on their faces mirrored her own as they tried to figure out what to do next while maintaining composure for the children. "Is it safe?" she finally asked aloud, breaking the silence that had settled over them like a thick fog. Then came another low growl from the lion, which sent a ripple of excitement and trepidation through the crowd of students. It was an earthy sound that hinted at both power and grace. Everyone stood still, eyes glued to the golden figure that seemed more like a character from a storybook than anything real. "Maybe he just wants to play," one boy shouted nervously, trying to lighten the mood despite his quivering voice. Laughter erupted mixed with gasps as kids began to regain some of their previous energy while still keeping their distance from the extraordinary visitor. "Stay close," Ms. Johnson urged gently but firmly. "We need to be cautious." Her heart raced not only for her own safety, but also for those bright young faces who looked up to her for guidance in moments like these. The students slowly started moving closer together as they leaned in to get better looks at their new guest. And what a guest he was. The lion took slow steps forward, surveying its surroundings with curiosity that matched theirs. Its massive paws padded softly against the grass, creating an almost surreal atmosphere where danger and wonder intertwined seamlessly. "Do you think he got lost?" Emma's friend whispered back to her, fear creeping into her voice again. "I don't know," Emma replied thoughtfully. "But look how calm he is. He doesn't seem angry." Her observation caught on among other children who began speaking amongst themselves again, this time wonderment mixing with their fears. Just then, Mr. Thompson decided that perhaps sharing knowledge would help ease their worries. "Lions are social animals," he explained loudly enough for all to hear, standing taller and adopting a teaching stance despite everything around him being so chaotic. "They live in groups called prides." "Do you think he has friends nearby?" Another child piped up eagerly. Everyone laughed nervously at the thought of lions playing soccer on the field with them, slowly pulling away some tension that had woven itself tightly through their hearts moments earlier. As curiosity enveloped both students and teachers alike, they began stepping forward cautiously together, as if being drawn into an unspoken agreement. Each child wanting nothing more than to understand this astonishing creature before them. With every passing second, filled with anticipation, mingled with nervous giggles. Excitement grew like wildfire across Maplewood Elementary School's playground. Where once there was only laughter among joyful games, now stood a magnificent lion whose presence would become part of their unforgettable stories. Tales shared during recess or around campfire nights long after that day had faded into memory. And so they remained there, eyes wide open, wondering what might happen next, as nature itself seemed ready to unveil even more surprises just beyond those trees, where magic and reality met head-on under warm sunlight, spilling across vibrant green grass. As the lion stepped fully into the sunlight, the atmosphere in the playground shifted dramatically. The golden creature moved with an elegance that commanded attention, its massive paws barely making a sound as they pressed against the soft grass. A sense of awe washed over the children, their previous nervousness melting away as they took in the sight of this unexpected visitor. "Wow," Emma exclaimed, her voice filled with both excitement and disbelief. She had never seen a lion except in books and on television. This was real, right there before her eyes. The lion paused, surveying its surroundings with an air of calm confidence. Its mane shimmered like a halo in the sunlight, and the children couldn't help but be mesmerized by its beauty. Some took tentative steps closer, drawn by curiosity, while others remained rooted in place, a mix of wonder and fear dancing behind their eyes. "Is it dangerous?" whispered one boy, his voice trembling slightly as he clutched his friend's arm. The uncertainty in his tone reverberated throughout the crowd, and for a moment, the earlier excitement faded back into hesitation. "It doesn't look angry," Emma replied, trying to reassure her friend. "Look at how it walks. It seems friendly." Her brave observation encouraged others to lean forward, peering at the lion with wide-eyed fascination. Meanwhile, Ms. Johnson stood near the front of the group, her heart racing as she took stock of the situation. She knew she had to keep her students safe while also allowing them to experience this incredible moment. "Let's stay together," she called out gently but firmly. "We need to be cautious but curious." As the lion continued to stroll into the open space of the playground, it paused again, flicking its ears to listen to the sounds around it. The laughter that once filled the air had transformed into a hushed reverence. Even the birds seemed to hold their breath as they perched silently among the trees. Mr. Thompson squinted and scratched his head in disbelief. He had seen many things in his teaching career, but never a lion wandering into school grounds. "This is extraordinary," he thought to himself, feeling an urge to document the moment somehow. He reached for his phone, almost forgetting that its purpose was not just to capture images, but to share stories. And this story was unfolding right before him. Suddenly, with a powerful yet graceful leap, the lion closed the distance between itself and a nearby tree, leaving footprints on soft grass that would forever be marked with memories of this day. It sniffed at a low-hanging branch and then turned its gaze back toward the children, who were now moving closer together, as if forming a circle of safety around one another. A boy named Jake couldn't contain his excitement any longer. "Can we pet it?" he shouted eagerly. His words ignited a mixture of gasps and nervous laughter among his classmates. "Hold on," Ms. Johnson interjected quickly while trying to maintain control over her excited students. "We need to remember that this is a wild animal. It's important to respect its space." The lion let out another deep rumble, which resonated through the air like a gentle warning bell. Despite its mighty roar, there was something captivating about its demeanor. It didn't seem aggressive or threatening, but rather curious about the colorful gathering of children before it. Then came another unexpected surprise. The lion lay down on the grass beneath a tree, its posture relaxed yet regal. The children gasped once more, but now with awe rather than fear. This magnificent creature was not just any wild beast. It was like something from their wildest dreams, a living testament to nature's beauty and power right before their eyes. The teachers exchanged glances filled with both relief and disbelief as they noted how this encounter had transformed from alarming chaos into an opportunity for learning and connection with nature. "Do you think it's here for a reason?" one child pondered aloud as they observed the lion lounging peacefully. "I think maybe it just wanted to see us," Emma suggested brightly, her imagination sparking further ideas about what it would be like to have such an extraordinary visitor in their midst. And so they stood together, children and teachers alike, captivated by this unexpected guest who had turned an ordinary day at Maplewood Elementary School into an unforgettable adventure filled with thrills, lessons on respect for nature, and shared wonderment that would echo through their memories long after they returned to their regular schedules. As the lion made its grand appearance, Ms. Johnson quickly assessed the situation. She could see that the excitement swirling among the children was mixing dangerously with fear, and she knew immediate action was essential. "All right, everyone," she called out, her voice steady yet firm. "Gather around me. We need to stay close together." With urgency in her tone, she waved for the students to form a circle around her, trying to create a sense of safety amidst the uncertainty. As children began to move toward her, some still glanced back at the lion with wide eyes, captivated yet cautious. Mr. Thompson joined her side, glancing at the lion who now lounged under the shade of a tree. "This is unlike anything I've ever seen," he said, shaking his head in disbelief while trying to maintain his composure. "But we have to keep the students calm." "Absolutely," Ms. Johnson replied, keeping her gaze on her students. She noticed Emma tugging on her friend's arm, pointing excitedly at the lion. "Emma, stay with the group," she reminded gently but firmly, wanting to ensure that none of them wandered too close. The children were buzzing with energy, but Ms. Johnson could sense the rising tension bubbling just beneath the surface. "Let's take a deep breath together," she suggested, raising her own arms as she demonstrated how to inhale slowly and exhale gently. The children followed her lead, their collective breaths creating a harmonious rhythm that helped to ease their anxiety. Ms. Lee walked over from another section of the playground where she had been monitoring a group of kids playing soccer. She could feel the weight of responsibility resting heavily on her shoulders as she joined the gathering. "Is everyone okay?" she asked, scanning their faces for any signs of fear or distress. "We're just looking at the lion," shouted Jake, his excitement spilling over as he pushed through the crowd a little too eagerly. "Jake, back with us," Ms. Johnson said sharply, but with a touch of kindness in her voice. It was important for them all to remain aware and cohesive as they faced this extraordinary situation together. "Let's remember that this is a wild animal," Ms. Lee added calmly. "Lions are not like dogs. They are strong and can be unpredictable." Her words brought a pause among the group, reminding them of the importance of both respect and caution. Meanwhile, Mr. Thompson took it upon himself to engage the students while maintaining their focus. "Who can tell me something interesting about lions?" he asked, hoping to steer their thoughts toward educational curiosity rather than fear. "I know they live in prides," shouted one boy enthusiastically. "And they sleep for most of the day," another chimed in. Great facts. Mr. Thompson encouraged them with enthusiasm. That's why it's so special we get to see one up close today. He was amazed at how quickly kids could shift their attention when presented with engaging information. As Ms. Johnson continued to gather everyone closer for safety, she couldn't help but notice how quickly they became entranced by discussions about lions instead of focusing solely on their initial fears about being so close to one in real life. The lion seemed unfazed by all the chatter. It stretched out lazily in its shady spot and let out a soft growl that echoed like thunder through their hearts, reminding them all that it was indeed still a powerful creature amid their playful awe. Ms. Johnson took this opportunity to explain to her students about wildlife and nature's balance. Animals like this lion belong in their habitats far away from schools and parks, she stated thoughtfully as they listened attentively. We should always appreciate them from a distance. Just as she finished speaking, another teacher arrived on the scene, Mr. Patel, who had heard about the commotion from afar and rushed over to help assess why your typical playground recess had become an unexpected adventure filled with suspense. Together, they formed an unspoken team determined to keep things under control while allowing children space for fascination amidst all that uncertainty. A delicate balance between excitement and safety that couldn't be taken lightly. As minutes passed and conversations flowed, blending wonder with caution, weaving tales animated by lively curiosity. The teachers knew they were planting seeds of respect for nature in young minds, a lesson rooted deeper than any standard curriculum could ever offer amidst those vibrant green grassy fields that day at Maplewood Elementary School. As the excitement and curiosity continued to build among the children, something unexpected happened. Mr. Patel, one of the more adventurous teachers at Maplewood Elementary, took a deep breath and stepped forward from the group. He had been observing the lion closely and felt an unusual pull to understand this magnificent creature better. "Everyone stay here," he announced with a calm but confident tone, glancing back at Ms. Johnson to gauge her reaction. She looked taken aback at first, her eyes widening in surprise. "What are you planning to do?" she asked, concern etched across her face. "I think I can help," Mr. Patel replied earnestly. "This lion may be lost or scared. If I approach slowly and calmly, maybe it will respond positively." He believed that understanding the animal's behavior could help ease the children's fears and perhaps even provide insight into why it ended up in their playground. Ms. Johnson hesitated for a moment, weighing the risks of approaching a wild animal against the desire to teach her students a valuable lesson about compassion and courage. "Be careful," she warned him, her voice barely above a whisper as she watched him take his first steps toward the lion. With steady determination, Mr. Patel moved slowly across the grassy expanse between him and the lounging lion. The children watched with bated breath. Some instinctively edged closer together, while others leaned forward in anticipation of what would happen next. The lion lifted its head as Mr. Patel approached, its golden eyes locking onto him with a mixture of curiosity and caution. The powerful creature seemed to assess this newcomer who dared to enter its space, its expression calm yet alert. "See? It's not growling or showing aggression," Mr. Patel called back to his students, hoping his words would alleviate some of their anxiety. "This is all about trust." He spoke softly as he neared the lion, lowering his body slightly to appear less threatening. The children remained silent, their hearts pounding with both fear and admiration for their teacher's bravery. Emma clutched her friend's arm tightly, but couldn't tear her eyes away from Mr. Patel's gentle approach. As he got closer, Mr. Patel began softly talking to the lion, sharing quiet reassurances that seemed almost surreal amidst the tension of the moment. "Hey there, buddy," he murmured gently. "You're okay. You're safe here." To everyone's amazement, the lion shifted its position slightly, but did not retreat. Instead, it lowered its head, as if intrigued by this unusual human interaction. Mr. Patel took another slow step forward until he was within a few feet of the majestic animal. Suddenly, there was a collective gasp from the crowd as they witnessed this brave act unfold before them. A teacher interacting with a lion. Some children squealed in delight, while others held their breath in awe. All felt a mix of excitement and disbelief at what they were witnessing. "Look, it's not angry," Jake exclaimed loudly in amazement, breaking through some of the tension thickening in the air around them. Encouraged by this response from his students, Mr. Patel continued speaking softly, while keeping his body language relaxed and open. No sudden movements or loud sounds that could startle their remarkable guest further. Then came an unexpected turn. The lion took a few cautious steps closer to him. It seemed as though curiosity outweighed any lingering fear it may have felt upon being discovered by so many humans in an unfamiliar environment. From afar, Miss Johnson held her breath along with her students. Each second felt like an eternity as they observed how this interaction played out between man and beast. A moment steeped in raw emotion that transcended ordinary classroom lessons. "See? Animals can sense our intentions," Mr. Patel said confidently, as he knelt down on one knee to appear smaller and less intimidating than before. At that moment, a spark ignited within those gathered. An understanding blossomed not just among children, but also among teachers who recognized that compassion could bridge even vast divides between species when approached with kindness and respect. The atmosphere shifted yet again as awe filled every corner of Maplewood Elementary School's playground, where innocence met nature's wildness head-on. A beautiful reminder that bravery often lies not only in action, but also in empathy toward all living beings around us. As Mr. Patel moved closer to the lion, the atmosphere around him was charged with anticipation. The children watched intently, their fascination growing with each slow step he took. To their surprise, the lion did not retreat or show any signs of aggression. Instead, it remained still, observing Mr. Patel with an air of quiet curiosity. Mr. Patel knelt down, allowing his body to lower toward the ground, which immediately conveyed a sense of calmness. This instinctive act seemed to intrigue the lion even further. It tilted its head slightly and flicked its ears, responding to the soothing voice of Mr. Patel as he spoke gently. "You're okay. You're safe here." The teacher's words hung in the air, with a tenderness that spoke to both the children and the lion. Some students exchanged glances of awe and excitement, whispering to each other about what they were witnessing. Emma stood spellbound, her wide eyes reflecting the golden beauty of the creature before her. "He's so close," she whispered to her friend, feeling a sense of wonder enveloping them both. The lion's massive form was regal yet relaxed. He stretched out lazily beneath the shade while keeping his gaze fixed on Mr. Patel. It was clear that this magnificent animal was not just a wild beast, but rather a gentle soul in that moment, a testament to nature's ability to evoke emotions deeper than mere fear. Then came an unexpected moment. As Mr. Patel continued speaking softly and reassuringly, the lion began to shift its position ever so slightly. With deliberate grace, it pulled its front paws closer and tilted its head in Mr. Patel's direction as if acknowledging his presence and intentions. "You see? He's curious," Mr. Patel said softly without breaking eye contact with the lion, his heart swelling with hope that this brute power could be approached through calmness and respect. The children held their breaths collectively. Some had paused mid-whisper or even mid-laugh, captivated by this unexpected turn of events where fear transitioned seamlessly into admiration. A boy named Jake suddenly asked from behind Ms. Johnson, "Is it going to come closer?" The eagerness in his voice only added to the palpable excitement resting on everyone's shoulders. "Let's find out," Mr. Patel replied quietly, as if sharing a secret with those nearby, while still keeping his eyes trained on the regal animal before him. He didn't want to scare it off with sudden movements or loud noises. And then it happened. Without any sign of alarm or aggression, the lion took a few cautious steps forward towards Mr. Patel. Its golden fur glimmered in the sunlight as it approached carefully but confidently, showcasing a blend of trust and gentleness that surprised everyone watching. Gasps erupted along with sounds of nervous laughter from several students who were astonished by what they were witnessing. A fearless teacher demonstrating courage by engaging an animal that many saw only in documentaries or books until now. The lion came within mere feet of Mr. Patel, who stayed grounded on one knee, radiating warmth rather than intimidation. Slowly, it lowered its massive head again. Perhaps it sought comfort from this unique interaction or sensed no threat from its new human friend. "Look at that," Emma exclaimed excitedly, as she couldn't help but let out her admiration for such bravery, coupled with compassion as both human and beast, connected for an extraordinary moment under sunny skies. "Animals are remarkable," Ms. Johnson whispered deeply, moved by what she was experiencing along with the students surrounding her. And she knew that this day would remain etched in their hearts forevermore, due as much to their teacher's bravery as to nature's incredible ability to amaze them all. In that dazzling exchange filled with trust, the once fearful playground transformed into an enchanting realm where empathy triumphed over uncertainty, an invaluable lesson unfolding right before young eyes. A narrative woven into lives at Maplewood Elementary School forevermore, etched against memory's canvas. As the lion settled comfortably under the shade of the tree, the atmosphere around it transformed entirely. The children remained captivated, their earlier fears now replaced with admiration and curiosity. Mr. Patel stood nearby, a symbol of courage and calmness, which became a significant lesson for the students that day. "Today," he began, addressing the gathered children, "we've witnessed something extraordinary. This lion, although wild and powerful, has shown us that it can also be gentle and curious." His words resonated deeply as he spoke. They were not just about the lion, but the broader lessons within this experience. "Let's think about bravery," he continued. "Bravery isn't just about facing fear. It's also about understanding and respecting other creatures. When I walked toward the lion, I wasn't just taking a risk. I was showing it that I meant no harm." The children listened intently, reflecting on how important it is to approach situations with both caution and kindness. Emma raised her hand excitedly. "But Mr. Patel, what if the lion had been angry?" she asked, her brow furrowing with concern. "That's a great question," he replied thoughtfully. "In those cases, you must assess the situation calmly and keep your distance. Animals in the wild often react based on their instincts, just like we do. If we stay calm and show respect, we can learn from them rather than fear them." Ms. Johnson stepped forward to reinforce the lesson. "It's important to remember that we are guests in nature's world," she added. "Animals deserve our respect and understanding. Today, we saw an example of trust between humans and a wild animal. It reminds us of our responsibility to protect wildlife and their habitats. The children nodded, absorbing that message deeply. They began to discuss among themselves how they would share what they learned with their families when they returned home. Jake turned to Emma and said, "I want to tell my parents about how animals can be gentle if we treat them kindly." As conversations flowed around the playground, Mr. Thompson chimed in with enthusiasm. And think about this. Staying calm under pressure is a vital skill. Whether it's encountering a lion or facing challenges in life, remember that your reactions can shape outcomes. He encouraged them to think of other situations where they might need this skill. What about when you're nervous before a big test? Or when you try out for a team? That sparked a lively discussion as students shared personal stories of moments when they faced their fears, standing up to a bully, speaking in front of the class, or even trying something new for the first time. "I remember when I was scared to go on stage for the school play," Emma recalled with a smile. "I took deep breaths like we did here with the lion, and it helped me." "That's exactly what I mean," Mr. Patel affirmed, proud of how quickly they were connecting these lessons to their own lives. Bravery is a choice we make every day, often in very small ways. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow over the playground, the teachers gathered their students in a circle once more. "Before we end our day," Ms. Johnson announced, "let's take a moment to appreciate this incredible experience we've shared. We've not only learned about lions, but also about courage, respect, and kindness." With everyone looking ahead attentively, Mr. Patel reminded them one last time. "Always remember that understanding leads to empathy, and empathy leads to action. Let's be advocates for our animal friends so that they can live safely in their natural homes." The children cheered in agreement, their spirits high as they felt empowered by what they had experienced together that day. Even as they began to disperse back to their classrooms, they carried with them a sense of unity, not only among themselves, but also with nature itself. This unexpected encounter with the lion had instilled seeds of bravery and compassion within their hearts. Ideas that would flourish as they grew and faced challenges throughout their lives. At Maplewood Elementary School, this day would forever remain a cherished memory. A poignant illustration of how wildlife and humanity can coexist harmoniously when approached with respect and understanding. As the sun hung low in the sky, casting a warm glow over the playground, Ms. Johnson knew that while the children were captivated by the lion's presence, they needed to remain safe. She glanced at Mr. Patel, who was still kneeling calmly beside the lion, and then turned her focus back to her students. It was crucial to ensure they understood this situation was serious and needed careful handling. "Okay, everyone," she said firmly but gently. "We need to make sure all of you are safe. I'm going to call animal control for assistance." The children's eyes widened as they processed her words. "Animal control? What will they do?" Jake asked, his voice a mix of curiosity and concern. "They're experts in handling wildlife," Ms. Johnson explained. "They'll know exactly how to help our lion friend find his way back home safely." Knowing the importance of keeping the children calm while waiting for help, she motioned for Mr. Thompson to join her. "Can you keep an eye on things here?" she asked him, glancing back at the lion, who remained relaxed under the tree. "Absolutely," Mr. Thompson replied with a reassuring smile. He moved closer to where Mr. Patel was still interacting with the lion, ensuring both he and the stunning creature were comfortable. Meanwhile, Ms. Johnson hurriedly pulled out her phone and stepped away a short distance to make the call for animal control. As she dialed, she explained their unusual situation clearly and concisely. An unexpected visitor had arrived during recess, and while there had been no aggressive behavior, it was essential that professionals handle the situation. While Ms. Johnson spoke on the phone, Mr. Thompson gathered the students together again in a semicircle away from both the Lion and Mr. Patel. "Let's play a little game while we wait," he suggested enthusiastically, hoping to distract them from any lingering anxiety about their unusual visitor. "What kind of game?" Emma piped up eagerly. "How about I Spy?" he proposed excitedly. "You can use your imagination. Look around. It could be anything in nature or even something related to our new friend." The children cheered as they began looking around excitedly for things to spy, while trying to think of creative clues without getting distracted by thoughts of what was happening with the lion just beyond their circle. "I spy with my little eye something that is yellow," shouted Jake immediately. "Is it the sun?" one girl guessed confidently. "Nope," Jake replied mischievously, enjoying how the game distracted them all from their earlier worries. As laughter filled the air again with every guess and clue exchanged between students, Ms. Johnson let out a sigh of relief at how quickly they returned back to their cheerful selves despite having encountered such an extraordinary day. After several minutes of playful fun, and after explaining further details on what they should expect when animal control arrived, Ms. Johnson rejoined them with an update. "Animal control is on their way. They're trained professionals who take care of wild animals like our new friend here." A sense of calm washed over everyone as they absorbed her words. Knowing help was coming reassured them that everything would be just fine. They resumed their game with renewed energy, while occasionally glancing at Mr. Patel and the lion basking peacefully together under the tree. And each time they looked on, awe filled their hearts once more. Meanwhile, Mr. Patel continued sharing gentle observations with both his audience and their majestic guest. Discussing lions' roles in nature and their habitats helped paint a vivid picture for fascinated listeners eager to learn more about wildlife conservation. Even in this chaotic moment, driven by curiosity, fueled by wonder, moments later, sirens could be heard approaching in the distance. A sound signaling not only rescue, but also closure to this remarkable chapter, unfolding before young eyes at Maplewood Elementary School. A chapter infused with courage, alongside compassion, now woven into memories cherished forever. With anticipation building among children, anticipating what animal control would do next. This unprecedented encounter had turned into much more than just excitement. It became an invaluable lesson about respect for nature, blended harmoniously through laughter echoing across playground realms where curiosity flourished alongside responsibility toward all living beings sharing this beautiful planet. As the sun began to dip lower in the sky, casting a golden hue over Maplewood Elementary School, the students were still buzzing with excitement and wonder from their encounter with the lion. Just then, the sound of sirens echoed from a distance, growing closer as animal control arrived on the scene. Ms. Johnson gathered the students together once more, her heart swelling with pride at how well they had handled the unusual situation thus far. "Here comes help," she announced, gesturing toward the animal control vehicle that pulled up alongside the playground. The staff from animal control stepped out, wearing bright uniforms emblazoned with logos and carrying gear essential for safely handling wildlife. They exuded a calm professionalism that immediately put both students and teachers at ease. "All right, everyone, stay back a little," one of them instructed while giving reassuring smiles to the children. "We're here to help." As Mr. Patel stood up from beside the lion, he felt a rush of gratitude for how gentle the lion had been throughout this ordeal. It had remained relaxed under the tree, and didn't appear agitated by all the commotion around it. Its serene demeanor made it clear that perhaps this great cat understood that assistance was coming. The lead animal control officer approached slowly and cautiously. He was experienced in wildlife matters and knew how important it was not to make sudden movements that might startle such a powerful creature. He squatted down as he neared the lion and spoke softly yet firmly. "Hey there, big guy," he said gently, offering his hand palm up in a display of friendliness. The lion turned its head slightly, recognizing this new presence, but showing no signs of fear or aggression. Its eyes maintained that tranquil curiosity it had displayed since arriving at school. An encouraging sign for everyone watching. With careful movements, animal control members set about establishing a safe perimeter around the lion while preparing their equipment to transport it securely back home. As they worked together like an orchestrated team, Ms. Johnson took this opportunity to gather her students close yet again. Her voice steady as she said, "Now we get to see how wild animals are handled properly." They watched intently as workers prepped their transport cage. Tension floated somewhere between concern for safety and fascination with this majestic creature before them. Students exchanged whispers filled with anticipation at what would happen next, each eager to witness firsthand how trained professionals would manage a lion in such an unexpected setting. Finally, after carefully analyzing the scenario before them and ensuring everyone remained out of range except those trained for such encounters, one animal control officer stepped forward holding a protective net designed for larger animals. A bold decision but necessary to keep both people and lion safe during transfer. "Everyone stay calm," he repeated softly as he moved into position near Mr. Patel, who stood close by. To be certain nothing startled the lion or disrupted his trust developed with Mr. Patel moments before. In one swift movement, fueled by expertise derived over years working with wildlife species and paired with Mr. Patel's remarkable bond established, the officers cast their net over the lion lightly enough not to cause alarm, but effectively enough to allow them safely secure him within their equipment. Then came what felt like pure magic in motion. With gentle care ensured they handled clasping around powerful legs without restraining too tightly. The lion yielded itself willingly, further showcasing its gentleness despite immense strength held within its grand stature. "Whoa!" gasped several children collectively, eyes wide in awe at witnessing how smoothly everything transpired, while also, safely, removing majestic power back into nature where it belonged. An ethereal reconciliation between man-made complications clashing against earthly wonders demanding respect echoed loud through joyful cheers, ringing across playground realms, buzzing alive once more. After securing him within their travel container meant specifically designed just for such creatures, a custom-built enclosure equipped with comforts offered by nature. Animal Control asked Ms. Johnson if she'd like some help guiding them toward proper habitat locations outside town limits, conducive for lions living peacefully away from busy school zones. "Yes, absolutely," she affirmed, grateful for their support helping return this extraordinary guest safely home toward rightful lands. As they all watched together, the children cheered exuberantly, celebrating success behind their faces, flickering stars dancing excitedly across endless possibilities waiting beyond sunshine-filled skies ahead. The lion secured comfortably inside, preparing itself now on future journeys where roaming winds beckoned wild hearts homeward, safely evermore, marked indelibly within cherished lessons, learned today forever, penned bravely into history, shared harmoniously among eager minds flourishing alongside nature, thriving upon glorious roots, anchoring vibrant love beneath every paw step taken forward onward, amidst adventures yet untold, waiting gently round each bend. As the sun began to set over Maplewood Elementary School, casting a soft amber glow across the playground, Students and teachers gathered to reflect on the extraordinary day they had just experienced. The lion was safely on its way back to its natural habitat, and a sense of fulfillment filled the air as everyone recounted the events that had unfolded. "Can you believe it?" Emma exclaimed, her voice bubbling with excitement. "We actually saw a lion. How many kids can say that?" Her wide-eyed wonder mirrored the amazement felt by all of her classmates. "Not only did we see one," Jake chimed in, "but we learned how brave Mr. Patel was to go up to it. That was so cool." The admiration for their teacher's bravery lingered among them, leaving an imprint on their understanding of courage. Ms. Johnson smiled warmly at her students, proud of how they had handled a situation that could have easily spiraled out of control. "You all showed such maturity today," she encouraged. "Facing unexpected challenges requires calmness and bravery, just like you've witnessed." Mr. Thompson nodded in agreement. "And let's not forget the importance of respecting wildlife. Today was a reminder that animals deserve our understanding and care, even in moments of surprise like this." His words resonated deeply with the children as they began to connect the day's events with broader lessons about nature and coexistence. As they walked back toward their classrooms, students shared reminiscing stories about their favorite moments from earlier in the day. Emma described how magical it felt to be close enough to see the lion's mane ripple in the breeze, while Jake recounted how he guessed correctly during their game of I Spy just moments after encountering the majestic creature. "Imagine if we told our parents about this at dinner," another child suggested eagerly, already picturing family conversations filled with awe and admiration for their incredible experience. The idea sparked more chatter about how they would each share their unique perspective on what had happened throughout the day. Later that afternoon, Ms. Johnson gathered her class for a wrap-up discussion before heading home. "Today is one we will never forget," she started, her voice carrying a tone of reflection mixed with pride. "You all faced something incredible together, a lion appearing unexpectedly during recess." The students listened attentively as she continued. "We learned about bravery through Mr. Patel's actions, empathy as we approached that lion with respect and curiosity, and teamwork when animal control arrived to help us." As she spoke, Emma raised her hand again with enthusiasm. "Can we do a project about lions and other wildlife? I want everyone to learn what we learned today." "That's a fantastic idea," Ms. Johnson replied wholeheartedly. "Let's research lions' habitats and behaviors next week." Excitement filled the room as they brainstormed different aspects of animal life they wanted to explore further. In those final moments together before dismissal, each child seemed more engaged than ever, not only reflecting upon an extraordinary encounter, but also thinking critically about what it meant for them as budding stewards of nature. Before heading outside, Miss Johnson gathered her students for one last reminder. Always remember that unexpected challenges can lead to great lessons if we meet them with courage and understanding. Their smiles communicated unspoken agreements. They felt empowered not just by witnessing something remarkable, but also by having learned valuable life lessons intertwined with adventure. As parents arrived for pickups later that day, their children bursting with tales of excitement, they couldn't help but notice an unmistakable sparkle in their eyes. A testament not merely to thrill, but rather newfound respect for creatures who wander this earth alongside them. A blend of innocence, tethered tightly along currents, flowing strong beneath each heartfelt story shared under warm golden skies. The kind where childhood memories get penned down forever in soul's book, guiding hearts to embrace every opportunity life offered, waiting just around another corner. In the weeks that followed the lion's visit, The impact of that unforgettable day continued to resonate throughout Maplewood Elementary School. Teachers and students alike found themselves engaged in thoughtful discussions about wildlife protection and the importance of respecting animals. What had begun as a surprising encounter had blossomed into a powerful catalyst for change within the school community. Ms. Johnson took the lead in organizing a special project focused on wildlife conservation, inspired by the children's enthusiasm about their experience. She proposed a wildlife club that would allow students to explore issues related to animal safety and habitats while advocating for nature preservation. The idea was met with cheers of approval as students eagerly signed up, excited to delve deeper into topics they had only just begun to understand. Let's start with research about lions and other endangered species, Emma suggested during one of the club meetings. We can learn where they live and what threats they face. Then we can share our findings with our families and community. Her classmates nodded enthusiastically, ready to contribute ideas and information. They split into small groups, each focusing on different animals, with the goal of creating informative posters and presentations to share at the upcoming school assembly. During those meetings, conversations flowed freely as students expressed their newfound understanding of wildlife's vulnerability. They discussed how human actions, like habitat destruction and climate change, could threaten animals and their homes. It dawned on them that each of them, no matter how young, could play an important role in protecting nature. Remember how calm Mr. Patel was? Jake offered one day, reflecting on their encounter with a lion. He showed us that being brave doesn't mean being reckless. It means knowing when to act and when to be careful. That's right, Miss Johnson agreed, pleased to see her students connecting their experiences with broader lessons about responsibility. Respecting wildlife is essential. We must ensure that wild animals can thrive in their natural habitats without fear of human interference. Inspired by their discussions, the students decided to organize a fundraiser dedicated to supporting local wildlife organizations. They brainstormed creative ideas for activities, everything from bake sales to fun runs, and even reached out to parents for support in gathering resources. As the event date approached, excitement filled the air. Students decorated posters around the school, spreading awareness not only about their fundraising efforts, but also about wildlife protection in general. They shared facts about various endangered species and highlighted how their community could contribute to conservation efforts. On the day of the fundraiser, parents, teachers, and students alike rallied together, transforming the school gym into a vibrant hub filled with colorful displays showcasing their hard work. The enthusiasm was palpable as they sold baked goods and hosted fun activities like face painting and educational games centered around animal facts. Throughout the event, the children took turns presenting what they had learned from their research, proudly sharing insights about lions and other endangered animals with attendees who gathered around. Their passion shone through as they spoke about the importance of preserving natural habitats and protecting wildlife for future generations. By the end of the day, not only had they raised a significant amount of money for local wildlife charities, but they also ignited a sense of purpose within their community. The pride they felt as young advocates for nature rippled through everyone present, an acknowledgement that collective action could make a difference. As they celebrated their success that evening under twinkling lights strung across the gymnasium, Miss Johnson shared her thoughts with her students. You turned a surprising moment into an opportunity for learning and advocacy. This is just the beginning. Your voices matter. The legacy of that remarkable day when a lion appeared at their school continued to inspire future discussions about wildlife protection, sparking lifelong commitments among students to respect and care for all creatures sharing their world. Each child's heart was filled with newfound empathy toward animals, knowing that together they could create positive change. An extraordinary reminder that even unexpected challenges could lead to meaningful adventures in learning. In those moments filled with laughter and excitement, as they embraced their roles as environmental stewards, they knew they were bound by something greater than themselves. A love for nature that would guide them through life's many journeys ahead, forever enriched by one unforgettable encounter beneath golden skies, where adventure awaited just around every corner.